So these are my marathon medals, the Boston Marathon medals. This is last year's from the 121st Marathon 2017. And this one is from this year, 2018. It's the 122nd one. They're a little different. I actually like the new one a little bit more. You can see up here how the ribbon here is a little different, and also how it's attached to the medal. But they're about the same. They're kind of heavy and they're nice quality. And on the back, you can kind of put your name and your time. I haven't done that yet, but I'm thinking about doing it. So they had Medal Monday like a week ago. So then I took these and I put it on Instagram, and it felt awesome. It was nice to have two Boston Marathon medals on at the same time. So I can't wait to get another one. Then I qualified for it in 2016. I was up in Maine at Sugarloaf Marathon, and it was quite amazing because I decided I'm going to go and qualify for Boston Marathon. So I trained with my awesome trainer. Her name is Deanna Pomfret. She showed me some ways to improve my times, and I had a phenomenal race. I ran it in 3 hours and 3:22:19, and I qualified for Boston, which was one of my greatest days in my life. And then the next year, which was last year, 2017, I went to do my first Boston. It was a little bit crazy, a little overwhelming. It was a lot of people everywhere, a little bit of sensory overload, but it was also pretty cool. It was a little bit warm, so I struggled. So I had to stop and walk, which I have never done in a race in my whole life, which was a little bit of a defeat, but I decided, but then and there I'm going to make it through, and I'm going to do it again next year. So last year we raised about $12,000 for my son. And this year we're about the same amount, 12,000 at this point. So it's a very emotional thing for me doing the marathons, because I like to push myself physically. I like performing, but I also like every single step I take for my son. His diagnosis includes he has a speech delay, he is not nonverbal, he has seizure disorder, he has low muscle tone and global developmental delay. A lot of the kids with his diagnosis don't make it into adulthood. So raising funds for him and other children like him means a lot to me, because it's my son. I can maybe change people's lives, including his. There's a cure. There's a scientist called Soda Hugby, and she's over in Texas, and she's actually found a cure for this. Probably the hardest part of the race for me, that pre-race, mentally getting yourself ready to go out and run in that type of weather, and thinking it was awful. Like, we were so cold, everybody was, standing close to each other and waiting, and you feel like, why am I doing this? I want to go home. Like, seriously, I should be on my couch right now. But I had a good friend, her name is Linda, and she also ran with me, but she was in the same wave and coral as I was. So we stuck together and we started running the first 3 miles together and kind of warming up and laughing and goofing. And then, I felt like kind of motivated. And then it was just kind of a mental thing. I just told myself that, this is just water, this is just wind, worst thing can happen. I can do this, I'm a good runner, I've been training for this the whole season. I put in hours and hours of training, of runs and strength, and I was like, I'm tougher than this. Coming there and being there for the first time was just a feeling that it's hard to describe, because this is, you're running the Boston Marathon, you're going to come to the finish line, and it's like the people are cheering you on, and you do feel very special. I mean, no doubt about it. And you feel like, wow, all these people here cheering for me, And then so, yes, that was pretty cool. This year it was cool, but it wasn't as cool because I already had done it. But what was cool this year was that a lot of people were out in the weather conditions, and I had some really nice friends that was out on the course, and seeing their faces, seeing my family, and seeing all the volunteers. That was a feeling that made me feel like, gave me extra strength, I think, because they're out here, they're helping me, they're supporting me, and they could be inside because it's raining right now. It's a lot of work. But once you finish that marathon and you are in Boston at that finish line, you're like, yep, I'll be back next year again.